till on Jersey in the stands. I'ma hit you on a slide. I don't never slip.
So Seattle tricked me. So I was living in, where was I living? I was living in Scottsdale, and the company I was working for wanted to move me to Denver. And I'm like, I've never, I don't know if I want to move to Denver. And they're like, well, Seattle's an option. And I had to go to Seattle for 2 weeks. We were doing like training. It was the middle of the summer. 14 days. And I don't know if you've been in Seattle when it's sunny. So 14 straight days of beautiful sunny days, not a drop of rain in the sky. And I went, I thought it's supposed to be raining here all the time. So I was like, this is beautiful. You know what? Maybe I will take you up on that, Seattle, right? Like I said, Washington, no state tax. I'm, drive to, Portland's in my territory. I had the whole the whole West Coast of the United States. Actually, I shouldn't say coast because I had California, Oregon, Washington, over to Kansas. So I had and Hawaii and Alaska. So I had a big territory. But so I could live wherever I want. And I said, wow, it's sunny and beautiful, no state tax. I could drive into Oregon, no retail sales tax. So if I have any big purchases, like, this is good. And for whatever reason, I didn't end up doing that. And I ended up listening to them and going to Denver. And I love Denver. Don't get me wrong. I got to meet Brendan Marshall, his limo driver. Like, we had a blast. It was great. However, every time I went to Seattle, and I had to go to Seattle every month, right? Every time I went back to Seattle, rain, gray, rain, gray, rain. And not like rain that falls. It's like rain is stationary in the sky that you walk into. It was it was I'm so glad I did. And I love Seattle. I'm just so glad I didn't make that move though, because I could not have handled. I couldn't have handled that because can we kick it off with, you guys voted for me to cut my hair. There it is.
Looks good, Tom. Looks really good. I like it.
It's all gone. So when I say if you say it, I'm gonna do it. At least I stay true to my word.
It looks good. But yeah, so Seattle's definitely it's nice, but yeah, it's all a facade. People come here during the summer and it's not like that. It's too much. Like, it's starting to get to me, the amount of rain, the 8 months of rain. I'm ready to move. I need sun. It is way too much. But
listen, it's better than snow.
That is true. It could be Minnesota.
It's better than snow.
Jersey is like an ex-girlfriend to me. Like, I don't hate you, but if I don't never see you again, I'm straight. That won't bother me at all. I'm straight.
Oh man. So what do we got going on today?
Well, I was definitely thinking we could dive into playoffs, and everyone in the chat, good morning. Get those likes up. Let us know what you're thinking about these playoffs, because I think we all thought we were going to get Boston coming out of that series, which we did. It was a close call, but we are here. And first game is Thursday. So I'm wondering, what do you see from both ends, Dubs and Celtics, that need to, maybe is there strong suit and then things they need to clean up? I mean, we all know that, Warriors are small, and that's probably going to lead into some issues. But if they can keep those turnovers down and those rebounds high, then we should be looking good on that end. And then for the Celtics, are they going to stay healthy? How much rest are they going to be able to get to be ready to go into finals? So, I guess, Fluent, if you want to kind of give your pros and cons to each team, and then we'll see what we're looking at.
Well, first, I know you didn't ask this, so I don't know if it's on the agenda for later. So if I'm ruining it, I apologize. First, let me give the Heat like their respect, because they took Boston. We all picked Boston to win the series, but they took them to 7. They were down. They easily could have just folded. They didn't. They fought back. They went on, I think it was, Jay always corrects me, I think it was 11-0 run. Jimmy Butler, their best player, their superstar, their best scorer, had an opportunity to take the lead with like a couple seconds left in the game. Absolutely should have taken that shot 1,000,000%. So give them their respect. They were hurt, they were banged up, and they fought hard. And if you don't respect Jimmy Butler at this point, you just don't like basketball. So let me put that out there first, because I think on the last show I told you I've been a fan of Jimmy's since Chicago, and I don't think people give him enough love, and they should. So that being said, in terms of Golden State and the Celtics, this is the matchup we thought we were going to get. Pros and cons. Oof. You got the best defensive team in the league. We're gonna find out. Does defense win championships? Right? They're going to have to blitz Curry. They're gonna have to blitz Poole and Clay. Like they got a lot of people to blitz. The good news is they got a guy in Marcus Smart who could probably look. You're not going to get under Steph Curry's skin, but I think he can make his life difficult. You have Jason Tatum, who I think will give Clay all he can handle, especially not being 100%. And you have Jaylen Brown. Like they have three really like perimeter defenders who I think will give. We're going to see the Warriors. We're going to see how they play against tough defense. Or, I feel like, people were saying KD. Well, if he played in the 90s, this is what would have happened when he got swept in the first round. We're going to see if the Warriors played in a different generation, would they be able to handle it, especially if Williams is healthy down low too. So I really like the offense defense kind of mix of Boston. And I've always said defense wins championships. This is going to put this to the test.
Fluent, before you keep going, I do want to ask. So you mentioned you see Smart guarding Steph, and then maybe Tatum and Clay. Are those the matchups you see coming?
Yeah, I think. Look, we're in a always switching kind of matchup zone kind of defense sort of league now. But I would expect when I'm starting the game, I see Smart on Curry, and then a mixture of Brown and Tatum on Clay / Poole, right? And then the Tucker, Draymond, Robin Williams, Looney, right? They're gonna have to stop Looney.
You got Wiggins in there too,
right? Oh yeah, and Wiggins, yeah. So between Poole, because they're never on I think at the same time, Poole, Wiggins, and Clay will be kind of the Jaylen Brown, Tatum kind of matchups. That's what I see. Sure. We're gonna see how Clay shoot. Like, here's the thing. Steph might just be pulling up on Smart and shooting, like not that Steph is tall, but I think he could shoot over Smart. So we're going to see, do they have to switch up, right? Does Tatum and Brown with their length have to go out and make it hard for Steph? Because Steph's the best player on that team. Steph is the player that makes that team go. So you want to make his life as difficult as possible. On the flip side, listen, we're going to see what we see from the Warriors, which I think is just enough defense, because I think their defense is underrated. They're better than people give them credit for. We're gonna see, because if they go cold, which they've done, right, they're gonna be in trouble. They have to stay at least medium, maybe not hot, but they have to stay medium and be able and make their shots. So I think this is. I hate to say that I didn't want to see Miami and the Warriors, but I'm really excited to see the Celtics and the Warriors, because I think it's a really good matchup of offense and defense. And let's not sell the Celtics short. They can score too, right? Like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have proven they're legit scorers in this league. So yeah, I don't know what the question was, but I'm excited. I'm excited.
No, that was good. That was good. I just pros and cons. Yeah, because both teams, like you said, have their strengths and have their weaknesses. The Warriors can score through the roof, and I mean the Celtics can defend out the door.
Yeah, and
they are both so skilled.
And this is no disrespect to Phoenix or Milwaukee or Chicago, or any of the other teams. And I just think these are the two most balanced teams, right? And I think that's why they're in the final. Like, they both have offense, they both have defense. Boston's a little bit more on the defensive side than offense. The Warriors are a little bit more on the offensive side than the defense. But I think they're probably most two balanced teams, and mostly healthy for the most part. Like at this point in the season, everyone's going to be hurt.
Absolutely. And Jay, what are you thinking for both ends?
Well, Tony and I had this conversation. The first thing that I said to him when they were playing against Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference semis was, where's the difference going to be? The difference is going to be Jaylen Brown, because Middleton was out of the lineup. So Jaylen Brown could not get played to a tie from Connaughton and Grayson Allen. Those guys couldn't play him to a tie. That was going to be the disparity, because defensively, we're just as good as you guys. Drew Holiday was just as good as Marcus Smart. Giannis, in terms of him being on the backboard, Bobby Portis. We have all the things that you have in terms of dirty work, in terms of transition. Well, where's the disparity going to be when we're talking about the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics? Well, the disparity is on the offensive end. Why is the disparity on the offensive end? Because when I look at the firepower that they have, and not only just from their starting five with Steph and Clay, but now we got guys in Wiggins, we got guys in Poole coming off the bench. Gary Payton Jr., Gary Payton II is going to be back in the lineup. He's going to give you the defense that he needs, right? Now, what's also going to happen with the Boston Celtics defensively is that pickup point's going to have to be higher because Golden State wants to speed the game up, just like Boston does. But this is going to be a test of Boston's transition defense because that pickup point can't be at the 3-point line. It can't be at the hash mark because what the Golden State Warriors do, especially when you're on a run, they make back-breaking plays. Well, what do I mean when I say they're making back-breaking plays? You're on a 7-0 run and you've cut that 14-point lead from 14 to 8. Well, you turn the basketball over. The next thing you know, that 8-point lead goes to 11. You come down and you miss another shot. They get another 3 that goes back up to 15. So they make back-breaking plays. So the pickup point has to be sooner. Not only does the pickup point have to be sooner, I don't see a lot of switching going on defensively from Golden State. I think I see the same thing that I saw with Dallas, where Wiggins is going to deal with Tatum, because what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to get a lot of pick and switch action with Steph Curry. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to chase Tatum. We're going to try to chase Tatum off screens. And what's called the soft double, or it's called the hedge. We're going to hedge him and chase him off that screen. We're not switching just so you could get back, right? And then we'll eat the long ball from Jason Tatum. That's the idea. Same thing with Luka. We'll eat the long ball. If he's going to shoot 25-footers all night, okay, we're good with that. Because I think in terms of the athletes, I think that Golden State matches them. And when I think about Steve Kerr more than anything, I think about his idea of matching athleticism. So be mindful of seeing Kuminga in the series a lot. If Gary Payton II is playing, be mindful of seeing him more. Be mindful of seeing Damian Lee more. Be mindful of seeing these young guys more in the series, because what we're going to do is we're going to match athleticism just to keep us in the game. After that, I expect my vets to finish it. And I think that I feel like I trust the Golden State Warriors vets more than I trust the Boston Celtics vets.
Do you want to talk about experience versus youth? Check this out. Combined, the Golden State Warriors have 123 finals games experience. Any idea how many finals games the entire roster of the Celtics has?
Let's see. I'm looking at that roster, and I don't think with the exception of Udoka, nobody on that roster has been to the NBA Finals.
0 games.
Yes, nobody on that
so
roster.
You're really going 123 games of experience on the Warriors versus 0 of the Celtics. So you know what worries me about the Celtics, because we could talk about matchups and skill sets and game plans and all that kind of stuff. What I saw from them at the end, and look, they still pulled it out, but what I saw at the end of that game against Miami was they'll let you back into it. And if you let the Warriors back into it with their shooting, it might not be a tie game. You might be down. You blink your eyes and you're down 10.
Well, here's the thing, though, Tom. When you mention that,
so I don't. They have to be mindful of it. Is what I'm saying. They got to be.
And they do, and I think that had a lot to do with coaching. And the reason why I say that is because in the beginning of that Boston Celtic game, the reason why the Miami Heat were on their heels because Boston sped the game up, and that kept Miami on their heels for the entire game. The reason why Miami got back in the game late because they slowed the game down. With about 7.5 minutes on the clock, now we're walking the basketball up. Now we're getting in the half court instead of keeping the game fast. That's why Miami expended so much energy, because they were trying to get back in the game the entire game. Now, make sure that we clear, Tone. If you think that you're going to get into a track meet with the Golden State Warriors, this series will be quick work. I'm telling you that right now. This will be quick work. What I think about, you being a football guy, Tone, you can appreciate this. This is like going to Adrian Peterson and going, yeah, we're going to play smash mouth football. Really? That's what you want to do? Absolutely.
Love it.
Let's do it. Let's do that. Absolutely. So the game plan is going to definitely have to change if you think that you're just going to run these guys out of the building. That's not going to work. No way.
I think that definitely played into like the Miami series, because you could see, I mean, Jimmy Butler is playing almost the entirety of every single game. I don't know, maybe 38. I don't know how many minutes he was playing, but definitely high 30s and maybe into the 40s. And
well, he had to.
Celtics,
there's nobody else on that team that could score. He had to, yeah.
Yeah,
add that to the fact that
generator, the defensive generator, he was doing everything.
Add that to the fact, Haley, that if he makes that 3, game's over. If he drives to the basket and he ends up scoring and they got to go into overtime, Boston smokes them. Because Jimmy is out of gas. Jimmy is absolutely out of gas, and he was all that they had. That's why I got no problem with him taking that shot whatsoever. Get to the finals, our best player shooting the basketball to win it, I'm all for that. No problem.
I agree. If anyone else had taken that shot, I would have been pissed. But
who else is going to take it, Haley? Who else is going to take it? Kyle Lowry?
Kyle Lowry. Hold on. No. Kyle Lowry is known to take and miss that shot. So I'm actually very happy that it was Butler and not Kyle Lowry. So
yeah, I don't want to see him taking any more shots. That's for sure. But
so do you think? Can I go back a sec? Just because you had said coaching, when they were going on that 11-0 run, right? And we saw Boston settling for those long threes and getting away from what was working. Is that the, hey, we need a timeout and like get our heads back into it? Like, is that, do you think he missed that?
That's exactly what he did.
Just going to let him do, or do you think he was trying to show them, hey, I'm going to let you play through it. We know that you're playing poorly, play through it to build up their confidence. Like
you can play through it. You can play through it early, Tom. But when we get into the meat and potatoes of the game, I gotta settle you guys down, and I don't have to settle you guys down with X's and O's because at this point we've done all the X's and O's that we're gonna do. We're in the fourth quarter of Game 7. There is no more X and O's. I just gotta settle you guys down and reassure you about how we got here. How did we get here, guys? Speeding the game up, keep the tempo up, keep them on their heels. Now, if I'm doing that, or if we're doing that, then we keep them at bay as opposed to slowing the game down. Now we've let them back in the game. And now I got to reassure you guys of what happened, and why they got back in the game, and why or how we can get them to get back on their heels. So
you know what it reminded me of? Yeah, it reminded me of, because you brought up kind of the football comparison. It reminded me of like you're up and you go into a prevent defense. And I've always said the prevent defense only prevents you from winning.
That's all it does. That's all it does. That's all it does.
Yeah, you got to keep doing it. Now maybe a little bit less, but you got to do what got you there. Like so.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I'm with you.
Yeah, I guess my question, because the Heat, went through so much physicality, so the Warriors haven't really had to go up too much physicality. Yes, Jokic was, he was kind of a one-man offense at that point. Same with the Mavs. Like, they didn't do too much damage physically, but the Grizzlies were the one team that gave the Warriors a lot of physicality, and that was definitely the toughest team for them to get through. So I'm wondering if that's going to come up again for the Warriors. As far as the Celtics, they just need to rest and recover and recoup, because I think they are going to be exhausted coming back to play.
I don't
especially
think so,
running them. Especially running around the court, like Steph Curry is going to have them.
Well, them having this whole week off, I think that helped them out tremendously. Yeah. Not just in terms of getting their body, but also getting them rested mentally. I mean, they got the whole weekend off. I can definitely get with that logic. But when you think about a team like the Boston Celtics, who are gritty, right? Who do work hard on defense, and who does, they do a lot of things defensively. They get into you. They get hands on you. They get bodies on you. The difference is that the Golden State Warriors do that too. You get masked by the fact that they speed the game up and they're shooting a lot of long balls. Don't forget the fact that they do a lot of gang rebounding, not just on the defensive end. They do a lot of gang rebounding on the offensive end, which creates a lot of second and third chance shots, which can be detrimental to Boston if they don't watch out for that. That's going to be a problem for them going into this series if they don't handle them gang rebounding like that. And I absolutely think that Golden State can handle the physicality, because when I look at the teams that they've had to deal with in the past, I don't think that you're going to shot Chet. I don't think you're going to shot Steph. You're going to shot Clay or Dre or any of those guys in terms of physicality, because, we've been here more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. So we're ready to play. We're absolutely ready to play wherever way you want to play. We can adjust our game to that and be successful.
Yeah. 100%.
So we have a good question here. It's a super chat from Skylar B. Thank you. If Curry wins, and I've been hearing this a lot, and all right, let's deal with it. If Curry wins his 4th ring, does he become top 10 all time?
Well, the first question that needs to be answered is what is the criteria in the top 10? All right. So Steph Curry represents one of 9 guys who have multiple championships and multiple league MVPs. That's James, Jordan, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell, Bird, Duncan, and Magic. All right. So that's 9, and Curry, that's 9 guys. He ain't better than none of them dudes. So that right there is the problem. Okay, so he represents 9 guys who do that. Not a problem, but it's a good thing that he represents that. But he's not better than any of those dudes. That's number one. Number two, to put you in the top 10, you have to have done extraordinary things, right? So if a finals MVP or another championship is going to move you into that, Tone, it's the same logic that you talk about with James. The reason why you rate James where he is because why? James is what year, Tone?
106.
So this is I don't know how much more you're gonna get from him. This is Steph Curry is in year 13. How much more are we gonna get from Steph Curry? Are we gonna get more championships? Maybe, possibly. That could move him up, but I don't know. But in terms of championships, we could possibly move him. We could have the conversation of moving him into the top 10. We could have the conversation about that, but I'm having a difficult time with him cracking the top 10 because I think about the guys in my top 10 and I don't think he's better than any of those guys.
Here's my problem. When I look at my top 10, I'm like, who does he bump out? And that's always the question, right? Who does he bump out? And then, and then there's guys coming. Like he's already got, like we're already debating KD or Curry. Then you got Giannis is on the rise. You've got guys coming after him already. And here's the thing. So let me go back to it. So when I look at my top 10, who is he better than? Well, the one thing that will not make him better than any of them, I'm sorry, is rings, because we keep saying rings is a team accomplishment and it's important, but how does that make you a better player than someone else? So I look to this. The bigger question for me is if he wins a finals MVP finally, then does that put him in the conversation? Because he can win a ring and play poorly and not win finals MVP. It's possible. So does that help his case? Like if he, look, I'm not saying this happens. Let's say this finals, he averages 10 a game and 5 turnovers, and Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole have the series of their lives, and that's how they win. Does that help his case? No, that hurts his case. So that's why I say I look more to the, if he wins the finals MVP, now I'm like, because that's what he doesn't have on his resume. Now I'm like, okay, again, is he better than Jordan? Is he better than Braun? Is he better than Magic? Is he better than Kareem? Is he, just think about this. How many rings does Bill Russell have, Jay?
11.
He's number 11 for me.
You don't even have him in the top 10.
I don't even have him in my top 10.
Right. You don't even have him in the top 10.
How do I put Curry in there?
You don't.
So
if we basing it on that, you don't. And with that also being said, what's the criteria for being in the top 10? For me, when I think about the guys that I have in my top 10, every last one of these dudes from day one were awesome. And they weren't awesome for a little while. All of these guys were awesome for a decade. Olajuwon was awesome for a decade. Shaq was awesome for more than a decade. Bird, Magic, and I know how big of a Magic fan you are, Tone. You already know how I feel. Magic Johnson retired in 1991. He did not retire in 1995. He did not retire in 1996. He retired in 1991. These guys, Bird, Magic, Jabbar, Chan, these guys were awesome from the door. Steph Curry didn't make the All-NBA team until year 5. Steph Curry is in year 13. Not sure how your math works. That's almost half his career where he wasn't an elite player. So when we're talking about the NBA and we're talking about the top 10, those guys were elite from the door and they stayed elite from the door. We had questions about Steph Curry in year 4. Is he going to hold up? Is he even going to be around in 2 years? We weren't sure where he is. Now, all of a sudden, I'm not going to say all of a sudden. It's not that it's not noteworthy that we can have a conversation about it, but to say that this is going to catapult him into the top 10. It's the same idea with Giannis, Tone. Like when I see Giannis in the top 20, I'm thinking to myself, what did Giannis do to catapult himself from wherever he was to 18? Because to go from wherever he was to 18 means he had to have been close before he won the Finals MVP and the NBA championship. I'm thinking, what did he do to get that close? Well, I can appreciate what Curry already did, but to get into the top 10, man, that's a hard nut to crack, man. It's a hard nut to crack.
It's just, that's a tough look. I guess we'll see, but like I said, I think to crack the top 10, I'm gonna have to see some individual stuff. Like I said, Finals MVP more so than rings. Listen, right. I always say this because people, when I tell them I have Jordan 1, it's because he's 6-0. Jay, no. You and I have had this conversation. Have I ever said he's 6-0 in an argument?
In fact, you hate that. Don't bring up the 6-0 argument.
I don't even want you to bring it up. I think it's lazy. right? Because then it's like, well, Ori is 7-0, and who else? Someone else. Havlicek won 8, right? Didn't he? Something like that.
Sam Jones is 10-0.
Sam Jones, yeah, like that. That's the cherry. Like, okay, if team success comes after, okay, so skill, talent, stats, advanced stats, accolades. Then if you're tied and I got 5 and you got 4, okay, that's the deciding factor. But I mean, there's so many steps that get to that. So there you go. That was a long-winded answer to that, but Curry's gonna have a tough time.
Again, Haley, when you're talking about the top 10 or when you're talking about the top 5, number one, can we drop you in any era? That's number one. Number two, did you dominate? Right? Did you dominate your era? Now, Tone, you asked the question, well, was Steph Curry the best guard of his era?
Was Curry?
See, that's right there. You just looking up. You know why I'm saying that to you, Tone? Because if I ask you, was Magic Johnson the best guard of his era?
100%.
We don't even have to ask that question.
100%.
We don't have to. We don't even have. Tone doesn't have to go. There is no. So if you have to do that, then I think that we're talking about something completely different here. Completely different. So then we're talking about championships after that.
Right. And listen, I will say this. The things. If you look at those all the guys we have at top 10. I think every single one of them at one point in their career was either the best player in the league, right? 1 or 2, and was the best at their position for multiple years. And Curry, although Curry's probably has been the best guard at times, 100%. Is he the best guard, for the entirety of his career? No. Is he the best player in the game? Some will argue at one point or another, but between Bron and KD and Steph and others, it's tough to make that case. So.
Yeah, well, and I know you both tried not to do these comparisons or rankings until they're retired. I know that's kind of a rule for both.
No, that's Tone.
No, that's my rule, not his.
That's Tone.
No, that's my rule. Yeah, that's my rule.
Oh, you're like the ring.
Yeah, he's good with that.
I'm good.
So I'm just thinking, I mean, yes, he's in year 13, but there's so many. I think he has more seasons in him. I really do. So I think that this discussion in maybe 3 or 4 years will be different. And to answer your question, I do think Steph has been the best point guard. I do think he has been throughout. And this is going to lead us into the next question.
Okay.
This has been going on all around. If you've been on TikTok, you've probably seen LeRon's video clip from Player's Choice talking about, is Steph really a point guard? Which I'm curious to know what both of you think, because everybody has mixed feelings. And I know we're in a league where position doesn't really matter. But when it comes down to it, black and white, Chill, do you think Steph Curry is a point guard?
I have to accept the fact that the game has changed. And with the game changing, the position changes. However, I do expect you as a lead guard to do lead guard things at an elite level. Joker, for an example, Joker does a lot of lead guard things. He handles the basketball for Denver. He's their primary playmaker. He's their primary ball handler. He's their best passer. He does those things. In the process of him doing that, Joker's second in the league in rebounding. Joker leads the Denver Nuggets in blocks. He's their man in the paint. Same thing with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid does a lot of things with the basketball on the perimeter for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's still their best interior player offensively. He's still their best interior force defensively, which means that at the 5 spot, he still does things at the 5 spot at an elite level. Steph Curry, when I think about him, I put him in the same category with guys like Jerry West, Allen Iverson. I put him as a combo guard because when I think about a lead guard, I think about guys like John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, guys who control the game, guys who have the ball in their hands, guys who the offense runs through me. The Golden State Warriors do not have that kind of offense. Their offense is a lot of ball movement, a lot of action, a lot of action off the basketball. And the one guy who's controlling the offense is not Steph Curry. He is not their primary ball handler. If he was, then that would be something different. Now, when I got a guy like last year in Draymond Green who leads the team in assists, that tells me right there that Steph Curry plays off the basketball. Well, if you play off the basketball and you're not the primary distributor, which is a huge thing in being a point guard. That tells me right there that you're not primarily a point guard. That doesn't mean that you're not a point guard. That means that you're not primarily a point guard. So when I think about Steph Curry being a point guard, I think he's more of a combo guard than a point guard.
So people confuse what someone can do, what they do sometimes, with what they do primarily, right? So when I have this conversation, well, Curry averages 6 assists a game. He's a good playmaker. No one said he wasn't, right? There's this thing of these two ends of the spectrum that people think if you say this, it means that is untrue. No, they're not mutually exclusive. So let me read this to you. The shooting guard, SG, also known as a 2 guard or an off guard, or the 2, is one of 5 traditional positions in a regulation basketball game. A shooting guard's main, let me repeat, main, not only, main objective is to score points for their team. Is that not Curry's main goal? To score? He leads them in field goal attempts every single game, every single season, every single time. Okay. Number 2, their main objective is to score points for their team on offense and steal the ball on defense. Well, when you knock Curry's defense, what do most people say? Well, he's actually really good. He's, it's stealing the ball. He actually led the league in steals. Yeah, he did. So he's actually the pure definition of a shooting guard. Yeah. He leads their team. His main objective is to score on offense, steal the ball on defense. He's actually the definition of a shooting guard. Now, does that mean he doesn't bring the ball up? No, because it even says sometimes they ask their shooting guard to bring up the ball as well. It's actually in the definition. So can he bring up the ball? Yes. Can he initiate the offense? Sure. Can he pass? Absolutely. Playmake, 100%. But that's not his main objective. So now every player, look, there's a lot of unique players in today's NBA, right? Like we have a point center you brought up in Jokic. Look, some of these guys just break the rules. Curry's not one of them. Curry is literally the definition of a shooting guard. And here's the thing, because people say, what about his gravity? I hate gravity, by the way. What about his gravity? Well, are you on the ball or off the ball when you use gravity as playmaking?
Off the ball. You're
off the ball. So if you're off the ball, you're not the primary ball handler, meaning you're the 2 guard. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, the NBA lists him as a point guard. They do, because that's what the team lists him as, point guard. That doesn't mean that's how you play. And one of the guys, I forget who commented on my video, said, well, I believe he's a point guard because he's listed as a point guard. It's not based on his style of play. No, 100% it's on your style of play. And I use this example. If I post up and play in the paint all the time, and on defense, I'm a rim protector, what am I? I'm a center. Yeah, period. I'm a center or power forward, depending.
You're big. No doubt.
That's what I am. Period.
You're big.
And people, people keep saying, well, who's the point guard on the Warriors? No one. That's why they're unique, because they play with a shooting guard in Steph. They play with a small forward or a stretch forward. They play with a point forward in Draymond. Sometimes Looney is in there and he's the center. You don't have to have, and it's weird. I'm supposed to be the old head. I said this yesterday to Jay. I'm supposed to be the old head, but anyone who thinks point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center is the only way to play hasn't watched basketball in 20 years, because that's not, the game. I admit the game has evolved, and people have these skill sets where you can have a center bringing the ball up the court and facilitating the offense, but he still will post you up and block shots. He just happens to also lead his team in rebounds and assists and points and field goal attempts. Hey, man, that guy's a unicorn, right? That's not the norm.
I look at also, Tone, I look at the big man, for example, the 5, and how the 5-man has evolved. I think about it as updated software. So the 5-man isn't what he still does the same things that he used to do. He just does more of those things.
He does more.
What I don't listen to is I don't listen to the logic of the fact that Steph Curry is a scoring guard. Let me tell you something. Oscar Robertson averaged 30 a game for 8 straight years. You know what else he averaged for 8 straight years? 9 assists. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. All right. Isaiah Thomas was almost 20 and 10 for a decade. So the fact that you are a scoring guard, that doesn't matter. And where's the disparity? These guys are elite distributors. Now, when you're an elite distributor, that makes me the primary ball handler. Not only does it make me the primary ball handler, it also makes me the lead guard. And I have to do things as a lead guard at an elite level for me to be in that category. So I've always seen Steph Curry as a shooting guard. Not only that, he played two guard in college. He got converted to the point guard when he came to the pros.
Well, by name only, because he's 6'3". Listen, I'll tell you right now, I'm 6'3". I have been a small forward / shooting guard since my freshman year in high school. What did they call me in college? A point guard. I was not that guy. I was not that guy. Period. I wasn't that guy. And the thing is, people always confuse, like they'll say, well, Damian Lillard. Well, Damian Lillard, leads his team in field goal attempts, leads his team in scoring. So is he a shooting guard? No. Here's why. He's on ball. CJ McCollum is off ball. So he's still the main primary ball handler and facilitator. You can still lead your team in field goal attempts, but it's what you do most. What's your primary purpose? And it's still that distributor, that the person who sets up the offense, that's the. Let me ask you a question. For possessions, who do you think leads the NBA in coming off of screens, meaning you don't have the ball, coming off of screens by a wide margin?
That'd probably be Curry.
Yeah.
Steph Curry by a landslide.
It's not even close.
Which means if he's coming off screens without the ball, he's off the ball, meaning he's not the lead guard with the ball in his hand. Nothing wrong with it. It doesn't take away from how good he is or how great he is. It just, and I don't even know why we're having the debate. It's just he's not a point guard. Now I do know why we're having the debate. Actually, I do know why we're having the debate. You want to know why we're having the debate?
What?
You guys ready for this? Get your popcorn ready, as Terrell Owens used to say. Because people know, under no circumstances, there's no way you can make a case that Steph Curry is better than Michael Jordan. But they feel I might be able to make a case he's better than Magic. Because people have already started saying, if he wins another championship, is he better than Magic? He can't do that either, by the way. And so they want to keep him as a point guard because they think maybe we can make him the best point guard of all time. No. One, you can't. Two, he's not a point guard, and I think that's why they're doing it. They don't want him to go up against Jordan. He has no shot. But against Magic, well, maybe.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say that he doesn't have a shot, because there are a lot of people who make the argument of how he revolutionized the game. I don't think that he revolutionized the game more than he enhanced it. I do think that he did that because, guys were already shooting the long ball. He just made it. Him and Klay Thompson made it a bigger deal than what it already was. I mean, you and I have had this argument, Tone. The Phoenix Suns, with that 8 seconds or less offense, they were doing the same thing. They just didn't have the firepower in terms of a long ball shooter like Steph Curry. They were doing the same thing.
That's 7-second offense. That's 7-second offense. Do you know who led that team in 3-point shooting?
Sean Marion.
No, sir.
Steve Kerr. I'm sorry, Steve Nash.
Incorrect. It's the same person who averaged the same amount of threes as Steph Curry did the first time he won an NBA championship, just over 8.
Joe Johnson.
Barbosa. So they had a guard shooting 8. And if I'm wrong, correct me in the chat. Someone will. Right. It was probably ISO Joe, but I feel like it was Barbosa because that name stuck in my head. Either way, they had a guy on their team shooting 8.1 or 8.3 threes per game, which is the same that the guy Curry, who revolutionized basketball all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, he was a main ingredient. He might have been the most delicious ingredient, but the change happened in 1979 when they introduced the 3-point line, because every single year the team shot more and more 3-pointers, and then a guy like Mike D'Antoni shot a bunch of threes. The San Antonio Spurs, if you look at how many 3-point attempts Popovich's offensive shot, and thank you for introducing me to Richard Jefferson, by the way. He and I talked about this. He also says, by the way, Curry's a shooting guard, so I'm gonna go with Richard Jefferson. And he said San Antonio used to shoot a lot of threes. Under great, like if you look at how many they shot versus the league average, way more. Mike D'Antoni for the Suns, way more. Then when Kerr gets to the Warriors, can I ask you a question? What did Kerr do as a player? He shot threes. And then where did he go after Chicago?
San Antonio.
And what did I just say? They shot more threes than most. And then what did he do? Do you remember what he did after that?
What did he do? He went into the booth.
And then he was the general manager of the Phoenix Suns with his head coach, Mike D'Antoni, who shot a bunch of threes. So he learned to shoot threes, to play with the 3-point shooting style. Then D'Antoni, and the triangle. And what did he do? Well, he implements what he knows at the Warriors. And he took what Mark Jackson said, which was, I have the best backcourt shooting tandem in the league. And instead of what Mark Jackson was trying to do was still make them play traditionally, he said, well, if Mark Jackson is right and I have the best shooting backcourt, which he does, let me let him shoot.
Right.
And it worked, and they won.
Yeah.
And so, and then but if you look every single year, so like I say, anyways.
To answer your question, Haley, I don't think that Steph Curry.
It was Quentin Richardson. There we go. It's Quentin Richardson who led. Yeah, there you go. I knew someone. Thank you. I got fact checkers.
To answer your question, Haley, I think that Steph he's a combo guard, no doubt about it. I don't think he's
combo guard, shooting guard, off guard, two guard, a lot of names.
And not that it really matters. Like
it doesn't really.
This is a new league, but
it doesn't matter.
For clarification,
yes.
Right.
And to be clear, if I may, to be clear, we've gone from point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center to point guard, combo guard, shooting guard, swing man, stretch 3, stretch 4, power forward, center, a stretch 5. Like there's like 10, 15 positions now because you can't define. Listen, Hakeem Olajuwon wasn't shooting threes. Someone said, well, is Karl Anthony Towns, shooting guard now because he shoots threes? No, because 70% of his shots are twos. 60% are within 10 feet. He's still a center who just can do these other things. It doesn't change who they are. Primary, main purpose.
Which bugs me out, Tone. Whenever I hear people say stuff like stretch 3 and stretch 4, I'm trying to imagine. I never heard Xavier McDaniel and stretch 4 in the same sentence. That makes me nuts,
never happening. Never happened. No, but and I even missed. There's point forwards. Like I even missed some of the new positions because guys are so much more talented. They're doing look, everybody wants to be a guard. Let's be honest. You see, why is Kevin Durant a good ball handler? Well, because he was sitting there as a kid watching. Well, he was actually watching Vince Carter, but he was dribbling and he wanted to dribble. Every big man says, "Oh, I was trying to I wanted to be a guard." Cool. Now you can develop those skills and be a even more dangerous center. Yeah,
absolutely. And we're seeing that with multiple bigs in the league right now, starting to shoot.
I love it.
Again.
I love it. The league has never been like. I love basketball. There's so much talent. There's so much skill. It's it's amazing.
This is
absolutely.
Awesome.
I can't handle when I hear you old heads. First and foremost, I'm an old head, but I know the game, and I recognize when I see a player who's young who's going to be awesome. You guys know how I feel about Jason Tatum, so that makes me nuts when I hear that. I love the game.
I'm an old head that wants you to appreciate the past and know that if it wasn't for the players of the past, we wouldn't have the guys today, right? Because there was a guy back then who did something that was like, oh wow, big guys can do this, or little guy. Not Jordan, not that Jordan was the first one, but Jordan posting up. How often did you see guards posting up? Now, if you're a guard, you better learn how to post up. You got little guards. You got Kyle Lowry, Chris Paul posting up. That never would have been the case. So it's evolved. It's become better. They can do more things. And so I'm not knocking today's. I'm just saying, hey, let's give some love to the guys before us. But the game has never been in better shape. Like we can have an argument who the top 10 are, and we could all have a different list, and we're all right. All of us would be correct with our new top 10 list. I love it.
Well, I was thinking as we move into the 1 versus 1 round 2, we have. I mean, the last one we did, we had like Steph and LeBron, Melo and.
Melo, we had Anthony. I have it here. Anthony versus Harden.
Oh, Anthony versus Harden. Okay, so we had some good ones. So the next one we're going to do is Jordan. And then is that like where you could buy?
Jordan and Kobe get the buy because they were the top 2 seeds. Because we can't, it would be uneven. So we got 4 good matchups.
So we'll move on to Durant and Kareem, which... Good luck with that one.
Well, when I look at your bar, I've said this to you 1,000 times, Tom. I got one move: stop this and you stop me. I don't have a lot of stuff in my arsenal, but if stop this and you stop me. Kevin Durant, on the other hand, he's got a lot in his bag. Now you already know how I feel about. I don't care about your bag, Tom. What I care about is production. I know how you feel about that. I don't care about your bag. I care about what you're producing. Jabbar is an elite defender. I think that he could handle Kevin Durant for a time. but I think KD would eventually outlast him simply because he would drag him away from the basket as much as he possibly can, and not just shoot over him, shoot tough shots over him and score. I think he would outlast Jabbar.
Kareem gets the ball in the post and just sky hooks over Kevin. Look, Kevin Durant's tall. He's long, but he's not athletic. He's not like a jumper, right? Like, he's as tall as he is. He's not like, you see those skinny legs of his. Like, Kareem is going to post him up and he's going to sky hook him to death. Yep. Kareem can also play defense, very underrated. He can block shots. Kevin Durant is not shooting over Kareem. Not once. He's not shooting over Kareem. Here's the problem.
Wait a minute, Tom. Hold on. You don't think he's shooting over Kareem from 18 feet? I don't know, because I think he's going to drag.
I'm getting there.
Okay, so on the box, that's something different.
Box. Yeah, down low. That's where I'm going. Here's my problem. Kareem's going to have to check it. Kareem's not going to get it checked to him in the post.
No.
He's going to have to check it at the top of the key and start posting him up from, the 3-point line and working his way down. Right. That's where KD is going to take advantage because he's long. He can get lower. He's going to steal the ball. And once he steals the ball and he gets possession, Kareem's going to be pissed. He's going to be very angry. You want to see Kareem want to throw an elbow and punch somebody when he's got to chase Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant can ball handle. He could shoot from the 3, from the mid-range. And look, he's probably not going to have a lot of success posting him up, as I mentioned. But yeah, he's going to shoot over him from 18, from 22, from 25. And I think it's fun to watch. Like I said, Kareem might throw a punch because we know he's got a bit of a temper. I think Durant wins it just because I think it's the problem with Kareem. Now, if Kareem had magic throwing it into the post, he might win 11-0. The problem is he doesn't. It's 1-on-1, and he's gonna have to get into the post, which is gonna be the problem. So yeah, I can't even believe I'm saying this because I got Kareem. This is why this is so fun, because Kareem's a better player. Like, if you're ranking them, Kareem's top 3. Durant is not. But 1-on-1, it's Durant.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, that's 2 for KD. Okay, how about Larry Bird and LeBron James? Fluent, you want to start with this one?
Oh boy.
Wait, do you have Larry Bird? You said you don't have him in your top 10.
No, Bird's in my top 10.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, Bird. Oh, yeah,
okay.
no, Bill Russell. Bill Russell's not in my top 10.
Bill Russell. Okay.
Yeah, Bird's in my top 10. Bird's the best pure small forward in the history of basketball. He could shoot, he could pass, he was a better defender than people give him credit for. The problem is there's this hybrid small forward / point guard / power forward / shooting guard. Like, if you look up and down his list, I think he's been every position but center at one point, who does everything Bird does, except he can jump through the roof. He's a much better defender. He's more physical. He's faster. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's like, take Bird, pump him full of like, take Bird and like throw in Michael Jordan's athleticism, right? That's LeBron. So Bird's going to have fun. He's going to shoot some threes. He's going to talk some trash, but eventually LeBron's going to get the ball. And it's the same thing that I said with Kareem and Durant. He's too athletic and he can't shoot as well as Bird from deep or from the mid range. Like, offensive, again, I look at it from an offensive standpoint. Bird's probably the better shooter. I don't think that's a debate, but I just think LeBron's the better scorer, if that makes sense.
It does.
And so he's the better defender, right? So I think the athleticism, the defense, and the fact that he's a better scorer, in different ways, mind you, James beats Bird in a 1-on-1.
I mean, Dale Ellis is a better shooter, but Dominique Wilkins is a better scorer.
Right. Yeah.
So
Fair.
I can get with that logic, absolutely. Well, I'm thinking about athleticism more than anything. I know how smart Bird is. Not only do I know how smart Bird is, I know how chirpy Bird is, and I know how he could get into your head. And Bird will get the yapping at James. Not only will he get the yapping at James, he'll get the yapping at James, and he'll get the scoring, which could screw with James and maybe even talk James out of his game. Now, I think James is smart enough. I want to think that I don't want to think. I think that James is smart enough that he won't let Bird talk him out of his game and get into his head, because that's the only way Bird would survive. That's
I
the only.
think it's closer than you think. I think I think LeBron James wins, but I still think I think it's closer than you think.
And the reason why I think that that's the only way that Bird survives, because I don't think that James would just overpower Bird, because let's be clear, Bird was 6'9", 235, 240 pounds. Bird wasn't a small dude, right? But when I think about athleticism and I think about James getting Bird 18, 19, 20 feet away from the basket, and it's just you and me, James athletically would just handle Bird. He would just go by him. He would his dribble exchange, his stop and pop, I think would be better. Now, I think that he'd do a better job at that. The difference is would James let Bird get into his head? And I don't think James would let him do that. And I think
he will. I think he would a little bit at the beginning. I think Bird could goad him into a bad three, trying to post him up. And then James would be like, no, I'm not falling for that again.
Right.
And it'll come around. So I actually, like, if I were to play the game in my head, I see like Bird taking an early lead and chirpy, and Braun finally going, what am I doing, dude? And like go back to what he does and then win it. Yeah.
I'm with that. Letting him get into his head and go, wait a minute. Let me get back to what I know how to do. And then eventually I'll get it going. And I think he'd handle Bird.
Like people forget, we are talking about the guy who kept his warm-up on for the 3-point shoot contest and said, all right, who's coming in second? And then went out and won, right? Like this is the same guy who decided he's gonna play with his left hand and scored 40 plus. He's like, look, I'm just gonna play with my left hand. Like this is that guy that, hey, I'm gonna fake left, go right, pull up on you at the foul line, and then go and do it and score. Like he, let's not underestimate Bird's mental, because I think it helps him here.
Just really quick, Craig Hodges used to play for the Bulls. He was one of the better 3-point shooters in the game. And him and Bird got into a back and forth where they were talking about who's the better 3-point shooter. And Craig Hodges said, quote, Bird knows where to find me. And Bird said, quote, at the end of your bench. Yeah,
I knew you were going to say that. I love that. That's fantastic.
At the end of your bench. So when I think about Bird chirping, and he can definitely get in here if you let him, no doubt.
Okay, how about Iverson and Wilkins? Dun, dun,
well, I'll tell you what,
Jay guy, so let's let he can go.
I love Dominique Wilkins. I think Dominique Wilkins is a better one-on-one player in transition than he was in the half court. I think that Allen Iverson would give him hell. But what I can't do is I can't say that he would beat Kyrie Irving and then lose to Allen Iverson, because Allen Iverson, I can't say with 100% certainty that he's a better one-on-one player than Kyrie Irving. So I think he'd do the same thing to Irv. I think he'd do the same thing to Iverson that he did to Irv. And I think that he would go Iverson into shooting more long balls, considering how long and how athletic Dominique Wilkins was. And I think that he would bait Iverson into shooting out there more and then get him in the mid-range and just jump right over him.
As fast as Iverson is, and he is incredibly fast. I told you firsthand how fast he was. And his, great ball handler, all that stuff. He's not a great shooter. And, we said this last time. I think people forget Dominique Wilkins would have had like 6 or 7 scoring titles if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, right? Like he finished second, I think 6 or 7 times.
Who was chasing Jordan all them years?
Yeah.
Jordan 35, 33.
Yeah, he's a very I'd hate him too. So he's a very capable scorer. He and people forget too. Just we see the highlight dunks. He could shoot. Like especially for his time, he was a good shooter from the mid-range.
He had a really good mid-range game.
And okay from 3, not great, but okay. Yeah. Again, for his era. So, is Iverson, who's 6 foot, 160 pounds, soaking wet, gonna want to go anywhere inside the paint with Dominique? Because people, they don't realize. Like I saw a picture of Dominique, and I saw a picture of, I forget who it was. Oh, Nate Thurman yesterday. Those guys were jacked. I don't know if you see how muscular those guys are. They are, I don't know what they were lifting, barn animals, like lifting cows. I don't know what they were doing back in those days, because they didn't have the nutrition. I don't know what they were eating, dude. But they were, they might have been smoking cigarettes, but they were lifting like the cigarette, the plant or something. I don't know. They were jacked. So Iverson's not going inside. So yes, he's gonna have to shoot from the outside, and he's going to miss. And then again, Dominique is just bigger, stronger, faster. not faster, but bigger and stronger, and just as
And
capable.
a better athlete too. And
a better athlete, a better overall athlete, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Iverson's going to have to just hope that he can blow by him and get some buckets, which he will.
Mm-hmm.
But I think over the course of a full like one-on-one game, Wilkins is going to body him up, and I'm not that I'm saying this, but I think to just think about when that old guy comes to the Y. This is for the young guys listening. Comes to the Y and like bodies you up, and you're like, how did he, like, he's 5'11"? How's he posting me up? Yeah, it's because he's got 210 pounds of dad strength. Dad strength is a thing.
And he doesn't really look like much. Like you see him, you thinking of yourself like, I can handle.
I got him. Yeah, I got him.
Until he hits you, you're like, oh man.
Drop step.
What the hell?
Yeah. So I got Wilkins in a close one, and I can't believe I'm saying that because I think Iverson's incredible. But yeah, I got Wilkins too.
Okay. So Wilkins over AI, and then the last one. This one's interesting. Dirk versus Anthony.
We're gonna need a tiebreaker on this one.
Okay.
We're gonna need go.
I tell you what, Tone. When I look at how Dirk improved his game offensively, and then how he added to it, not just improved his game, where he became that unstoppable force, where he made himself impossible. It was almost impossible to guard him one-on-one. So, and Dirk had a lot of things in his game. Dirk could shoot the long ball at an efficient level, right? Dirk could hit the ball at 19, 20, 21 feet. Dirk couldn't blow by you because Dirk wasn't that kind of athlete. He could not blow by you, but he could get by you, and he could get in the mid-range. Dirk could get to the basket, right? Dirk could get you on the block. But when I think about Carmelo Anthony, man, and I think about how he just immediately got to it. There was nothing extracurricular about Carmelo Anthony. He gets right to it. He gets you in that 17, 18-foot range, and he's getting to it. He's blowing by Dirk. He's dunking on Dirk. He's knocking down mid-ranges on Dirk, because we all know, Carmelo Anthony isn't the greatest of defenders, but neither is Dirk. I think Dirk is a little bit worse. So at some point, one of these guys has to stop the other. And I think that Carmelo Anthony's got a better shot at slowing Dirk down at some point than Dirk does Carmelo Anthony.
And this is why I said we're going to need the tiebreaker. Because, listen, Carmelo is a great scorer, versatile scorer at his best. He was, look, that's what he was known for. We wish he would have done something else, right? Because when he came into the league, we were saying, oh, him and LeBron. Nah, man, it ain't even close. It was LeBron. It was no Carmelo.
Right.
But a great scorer, could, like you said, could post up. In fact, probably too much, right? Kind of a bit of a black hole. When you gave the ball into him, you weren't seeing it back again. But he would also take bad shots. He would take ill-advised shots. The one thing Carmelo didn't have, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was no like one signature kind of, this is what his go-to can't stop it move. Because he had so many different ones. I think when he gets difficult, and this game's going to be close, because you're right, the defense is going to be lacking from both sides. Dirk has that fadeaway kick, kind of high knee, weird looking 1-footer, that he can always rely on. And so I think when it gets close, and when it gets down to crunch time, he's going to pull that out of his bag, and that's what's going to win it in like an 11-10 or 21-20. I don't know what we're playing to. But I think he wins it by that kind of close margin.
That was Carmelo Anthony, though, Tone. That was Carmelo Anthony in the mid-range. He faced you up and jab. That's his game. Just like he was talking about with Dirk Nowitzki. That's Carmelo Anthony in the mid-range. That's his go-to.
I think Dirk. Whoever gets the ball last, and I'm just throwing it out there. I think it's Dirk. So Haley or chat.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say the chat. What do you guys? Who are you taking?
I just think that Carmelo outlasts him. And just outlasts him.
Yeah, I think Dirk outlasts him, because I think Carmelo will take more bad shots. Not that Dirk won't take bad shots. I think Carmelo will take like that one extra bad shot that flips it. So we got the poll up.
And when I look at when I look at Dirk Nowitzki, when I look at Carmelo Anthony, I just think that at some point one of us has to stop the other one. And I just think that Carmelo got a better shot at slowing Dirk down than Dirk does him, simply because
so far Dirk is up with 9 votes in, 56 to 44. So the percentage close. You know, Haley, let's hear your take while we're waiting for this. This will close here in a second. It's 50-50, so you might actually have to make the call here.
Oh man. Well, mine is probably going to be a bit more biased because I didn't get to see Dirk play. I know this argument, but I don't like speaking on things that I'm not like super versed in, you know.
Well, think about this, Haley. Think about this, Haley. Think about Joker as a better athlete and can pass.
Well, when you put it that way, I mean, I've seen tons and tons of highlights from Dirk, and I really like him, but I don't know. I love Melo, and I think just his athleticism. I'm thinking prime Melo. I'm not thinking this.
You're a Trailblazers fan?
That we saw the last. No, I'm a Warriors fan, but
you're a Warriors fan?
I saw him when he played. I went and saw him all the time when he played, and he had a few good games, but that's not the Melo that we know. I mean, that's an older Melo, right? So. Right. I think in his prime, what everyone saw early on in his career was insane, and I would take Melo, but
all right, okay.
I think it's so.
No, I was just gonna say need to vote because it was 50-50, so the next vote will make it. And Garp the Fisted, who I love, says Melo will jab brick. You're absolutely right. Unfortunately, unfortunately, I'm outvoted on the show 2-1, and the poll came back 53% to 47 in favor of Carmelo Anthony.
It is.
So Carmelo, chat, appreciate it. Thank you. You're wrong, all of you. The chat, you two, you're all wrong. But okay, you guys voted. Carmelo wins 55 at the end, 55 to 44. There's 1% missing. I think that goes to JD. Gets that 1 extra percent. JD's with me, by the way. I should ask Jay-Z. He's with Fluent. He thinks it's Dirk. Unfortunately, the tribe has spoken, so I am putting. Let me adjust my. We got Dirk here. So for next week, or next time we do the next round, just so I've been keeping track, we're gonna have. Oh, you know what I did? I even put in Dirk, even though you guys said picked Anthony. Okay, Anthony. Here we go. So the next round, it is down to the final 6. All right, we got Jordan versus Anthony, Kobe versus Dominique. Sorry, Jordan versus Carmelo. Kobe versus Wilkins. Durant James. Dun dun dun.
Oh,
It's be a good third round.
Well, you guys in the chat too, add any that you might want to hear, because I think it's always fun to do like some more current players versus older players.
All right, well, how about we do this? Haley, I'm gonna let you put it out there to whoever you have and to the chat. We're gonna have we're gonna open up 2 wild card spots.
Ooh,
so we're gonna do wild card. They're gonna be at the bottom. So whoever wins the wild card has to play the top seed. But we're gonna do a wild card. So put in your names. Who should be allowed into this one-on-one tournament for wild cards? We need 2 wild cards. I'm gonna let you. You can surprise us the day of. Andre Iguodala versus Andre 3000.
I think we're good on that. We're good on Andre 3000. I don't know about that. I think I'm gonna pass on Andre 3000.
I'm taking Andre Iguodala.
Was Kawhi in it? Garp asked. No,
Kawhi was not in it. So Kawhi, we'll put in Kawhi as one of the wild cards. I like that one.
And Kawhi is a very good one-on-one player.
That's a good one.
He's an awesome one-on-one player.
Absolutely.
Let me mark it down. Did we have D-Wade?
I thought we did him last time.
Was he in? D-Wade might have been eliminated. Was he?
He was.
Should I check let me check the original. Let me check the original roster. Well, do we have anything else while we're doing this? Are we
nope,
good?
That was all I had for today.
I think that's it.
Yeah, Wade lost to Kobe in round 1.
That's what I was thinking.
So we're not bringing anybody out. There's no Phoenix. We're not bringing anybody up from the ashes. They have to be new, not in the original 20. So we got Kawhi, and hey, listen, we got until next week to pick the second one. But Kawhi, we'll have Kawhi in as a wild card. Let me just put wild card. There we go. Cool.
And then Thursday we'll definitely jump into probably playoff and finals predictions because I don't think we've all gone over those yet, especially because game 1 is on Thursday, which is crazy.
All right.
Yes, so 2 more days. But yeah, you guys keep throwing those names in the chat, and we will write those down and fill those because I like Kawhi.
JM Simp really wants Jordan Poole.
No. We're not. It's not his time.
We want
yet.
someone who
One
can
day.
compete. Someone who can compete. Someone who
One
can
day.
compete with Kawhi. Let's make it interesting.
Right.
Yeah. So Thursday we're gonna do our deep dive and we'll make our predictions. Okay. All right. Mine's gonna surprise you.
And I don't know. We'll see. And then JD just said Paul Pierce.
Oh,
So,
Paul Pierce. Okay.
All
right. The truth versus the claw.
I like it.
I'm good with that. You like that one, Jay?
I do like that one.
All right.
I think Leonard is better, but we'll get into that.
Another one was Scottie Pippen.
He's
I don't
not
know.
really a good.
Scottie was actually a really good one-on-one player. He was, but Scottie was a better transition player.
Yeah.
Than he was a one-on-one player, but he was a good one-on-one player. Scottie could score. Scottie could absolutely score.
Game on the line. You need a 3. You giving the ball to Scottie or Tony Kukoc? Oh, we know what Phil Jackson did.
Yeah, we already know what Phil did. So. Yeah, we already know what Phil
All
did.
right. So Thursday we're gonna do the finals preview, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Finals preview. We'll break down kind of what else. I mean, if we hear anything about Gary Payton coming back or Smart injury report, all of that. Yeah, we'll get into a deep dive of that. But for now, we're probably going to call it a day. Chat, thank you so much for participating. You guys are amazing as always. And feel free to shoot us any more names that you guys think of before Thursday too.
Get those likes
Alrighty.
up. That's right. Until next time, Jay, take it away, man.
Take it light, but take it.
It's the only thing we understand. I'ma stand till on Jersey in the stands. I'ma hit you on a slide. I don't never slip.